blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blurst.
Okay, all right, okay.
Hey, what's up? Hello.
All right, and then now I'm recording too.
Sweet.
Gucci.
Oh, did we get rid of the pod notes tab, Blake?
Well,
Wow.
yeah, we did. Because everyone was complaining about there's too many channels. So I was like, you know what? There is too many channels. I checked to make sure there was nothing pinned in there. I didn't
That's
see
fair.
anything.
Okay.
We're too organized, is what you're saying to me.
That's
Well,
I was like of the ones to get rid of. I didn't think notes was the one, but it's okay. It's all right. We kept memes and clips, so yeah, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, we've used those extensively.
So much.
Oh, speaking of memes, did you see the one that I put out? The Ozuna?
Yes, that was a quality meme.
That one
I spent
loved it.
hours.
I
Absolutely.
spent hours figuring out how to do that.
I could have just made his head soar off the screen. Instead, I made it rotate as it went.
The rotating.
Was it worth my time at that point? No.
Probably not.
I did get 8 likes, so no big deal.
Hell yeah.
Also, the WWE one, that one blew up in India, so we got
That's wild.
a large viewership in India.
Nice.
I think they love High School Musical. So
Okay, that would make sense.
That makes sense why they like us.
All right, let's crank this Soldier Boy. God damn it, Blake! I can't stop thinking about that now.
Before it cranks us.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Blurst, everyone. We are back for our Monday show. Today is August 22nd, and I am joined here, as always, by Kais and Belize. What's up, boys?
Not much, man. We're mid Atlanta United game right now, so we're up 1-0. We love to see it. Hopefully by the end of the pod, we've got a dub coming forward. Blake,
we're seeing it more and more.
Yeah, we're hearing it.
We're hoping for it is what we're doing. I don't know if we're seeing it more and more.
Phenomenal goal that we already saw. It was very good.
Yeah, it is a phenomenal goal. Good morning, everyone. If you're listening to this on your morning drive, we are recording this on Sunday, the 21st. So we are watching the Atlanta United game live while we're recording this. So yeah, hopefully we can talk about some good news by the end of the podcast.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yes.
What y'all do this weekend? What's been up, guys?
Man, just working, like we talked about off pod. So I'm excited to just talk some sports.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Man, there's a little fire. I need you guys to match my energy. I
gotta
no. Get my heart rate up with the intro, and then
absolutely, and then
we're back down here.
Monday.
But so on Daddy's seg, we're gonna be hitting the offensive line. We're hitting that position group of the UGA countdown to the season preview, which I think is 13 or 14 days from now.
The battle in the trenches so important.
Like we said last week, it's an amount of days that is less than it was last time we talked about it, away from the season starting.
That's a great point. And you know what else is happening tonight? If you are listening to this on Monday, the Falcons play in their second preseason game against the New York Jets. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to get into the Hawks season, looking at their schedule. It got released, and so we also want to analyze those first 10 games because we don't want to do what we did last year.
No,
we
don't.
We don't want to come back all cocky and be like, well, the regular season's not fun, and then lay a goose egg in the first 20 games of the season.
And one thing I'd like to get, we can get into that more during the seg, but you just saying that reminds me, I think the addition of DeJounte Murray is going to help that mindset.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I think you're 100% right because we didn't have the character like Murray last season to get that fire.
He's an intense fella.
He is.
Hopefully that pays dividends. I'll be talking about the Braves. I was going to talk about my week, though, since you asked Aaron. Might as well. It was a busy week. I got my stitches removed, so that was exciting.
Nice.
Hell yes.
I am a little bit on edge around knives still. Avocado's not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
So they didn't do the synthetic stitches? They did actual real.
It was real.
Had to get those bad boys out of there.
Oh, yeah. I got a scar for sure.
There it is.
It's a full inch. Yeah.
It is. I got a full inch for you right here, Hayden. I tell you
my goodness. And I got my haircut. I was inspired by Stet the Jet.
Yes.
And I was not brave enough to go the full skin fade. So I got a 1, and I'm pretty proud of it.
No, it looks good.
No, it looks
Makes
great.
me feel good. I feel like a police officer when I'm wearing sunglasses and everything with the mustache.
Yes. Is that what you're for Halloween?
I could.
You could.
Maybe I should go Reno 911 on it.
Oh, that would
it'd
be
good.
lovely.
It'd be good.
It's on the radar.
Yes. Good
yeah.
pun. Also,
Is it?
On the
It's radar.
they use radar.
That was on purpose, everyone.
Yeah.
The first time he does it accidentally.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Also, if you hear a cricket, I think there's a cricket in my room somewhere. It's not because my jokes aren't landing. It's because there might be actually a cricket.
It's a wandering cricket.
It's just your wife in the background with her phone.
In Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, they'll pop out and get you.
Well, by God, you want to? Let's get into some daggone Braves talk, man.
Yeah,
we got
yeah.
exciting stuff.
Because that certainly has been crickets.
It has
not
with the Braves.
Yeah, no. Hasn't been.
I thought you said has been.
Hasn't been.
Yes.
Has been anything other than crickets.
Luckily, we had a phenomenal week with the Braves.
Yes.
You know, we've been saying the last few weeks how important this series with the Mets was. And we needed to take 3 or 4 at home to stay in the race, and we did.
I'll be damned. Yeah.
We played super well throughout all the games.
I feel like we won.
Even the game we lost was like a close contest.
It
too.
was.
We came back in it. So.
Man, at the end, that bottom of the ninth, a man on, Ronnie hits one to the fucking warning track.
It's close.
Woo,
It was close. It was
Felt
close.
right.
And Ronnie felt like he's back. Like I feel like we're seeing Ronnie back in full form again. And I think
since the Mets series in New York a couple weeks ago, he's kind of like picked it up since then. But yeah, he's looking good.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I was gonna say, since we talked last, we said what the Braves need to do or this next week in order to have a shot. And I think we did just that. Like we did it enough to be where we need to be going into the next week. Because
we swept all the bad teams that we played, and then we won the series against the 2 good teams that we played. So.
So that's the other thing. Yeah, we took 3 or 4 versus the Mets, and then we had a series with the Astros, who are the best team in the American League, and we took 2 out of 3.
Yep.
And again, we almost came back on Sunday to win, falling by 1 run.
Yeah, but our losses weren't even that bad against the Mets or the Astros.
No, the guys are playing super well. It's hard to complain. The game that we lost against the Mets was Odorizzi versus Scherzer. So that's a tough matchup.
Yeah, and we still put 4 runs on him.
Yeah, we put 4 on Scherzer, and that's what got him out of the game.
Yeah.
And or he came out before the runs got earned, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
He had walked 2.
So as of today, unfortunately, the Mets came back and won their game against the Phillies today. So we are officially 4 games back, but it's better, but much better than where we were at a week ago. And you know the guys are staying hot, and it seems like there's like a good juju going on in the clubhouse. They got their ice cream machine because they beat the Mets. That was a really funny
what was
story.
that? What was that about?
So Travis d'Arnaud, I guess they had a soft serve machine in the clubhouse last season, and he was pretty upset it wasn't in there. I don't know if it got upgraded to Froyo or what, but so he talked to Alex Anthopoulos before the series last week, asking to get the soft serve machine back. And AA told him that if they took 3 or 4 versus the Mets, that they would get it back. And they did. And there's a clip of d'Arnaud at the end of that last game when we beat the Mets, and he's running up to Kenley Jansen going, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. And so just a very endearing guy. And
he's so likable.
Using food as an incentive is something that I think we can all yeah.
I mean, all the way back to T-ball. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think one thing we're kind of seeing out of the guys is like how important it is to mesh in the clubhouse. And I think that's something even the veteran players that hadn't been like on a championship team before last season, they learned from Jock, and they kind of saw like how that took the edge off for the younger guys and took the pressure off. And I think d'Arnaud's picking that up. Tyler Matzik is kind of picking that slack up that we're missing too. And I think that's a big reason why we're winning. I think that's why these young guys are coming up and they're not feeling as much pressure.
No,
I wonder.
I mean, sorry, Blake. I was just going to say, especially since to that point, I mean, so many of those games were either won by or led to the win from Vaughn Grissom and Michael Harris. I mean,
yeah, it's incredible what those kids are doing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. And I thought Grissom might cool off, but he's just been staying hot the whole time.
He scored at this point, like 11 runs.
He's been so clutch too.
It's
been incredible.
I think he scored like 1.2 runs per game that he's been in, which is
crazy.
Nuts. And then he hit the go-ahead home run versus the Astros on Saturday too. So
yes, I do wonder if Freddie stayed, how the culture might be, if it would be different or not.
I don't know. It's probably just a different leader in the clubhouse.
It's Dansby, right?
I think it's Dansby. So
Probably,
that's kind of interesting dynamic in his contract negotiations as well.
Yep.
Von Grissom playing well is another interesting dynamic.
That's
so
true.
As soon as the season ends, I think we're gonna definitely do a deep dive into Dansby's contract situation again.
I mean, if Grissom stays
it is
hot,
super interesting.
if Grissom stays hot, we could talk about this next week. Just talking about the like say Grissom finished the season batting over 300. I mean, do you bring Dansby back? Like we could have that conversation starting next week. I don't know, maybe not today, but.
And that because he's obviously not the long-term solution at second base, not from lack of production, but not being his natural position. And then we're getting Albies back. So
a lot of people are saying that he might transition to the outfield over the offseason as well. I mean, that's the thing. If you can hit in the majors, you're going to find a play. You're going to find a spot on the field or DH.
And the shortstop, correct if I'm wrong, Hayden, a shortstop already technically being a part of the outfield.
What?
Yeah, I mean, if you go look at those numbers, that's why they're 6 when you go look over there.
They're technically part of the outfield.
Well, from what I'm saying is like, they're the infield, but I'm just talking about when you number off the positions.
Oh,
1 is the pitcher, 2, and there's a reason they aren't 5; they're 6. But yes,
I don't know if I agree with this, but continue.
Well, my point is their arm is stronger than most other infielders. And so that left field position, I think, is while it's also our weakest outfield position. So it's a natural step in there, but I also think he's got the arm to do it.
Same side of the field, so it's something that he's used to. So he's picking the ball up the same area, but he's played hell of a second base too.
Oh my God, yes. He did.
Like,
did you see that fake
I haven't seen a
did?
mistake really.
And on that, what was it? A pop out
versus the Mets is a pretty important play. The Mets were performing a hit and run. Lindor took off from first base. Alonso hit a pop up into shallow right field, and the ball ended up dropping. Grissom was going to cover second base, deked like he was fielding a ground ball, which is a really smart move and pretty veteran move, really. And so that's why Lindor dove into second base to get there. And then it took him a while to figure out that the ball was hitting the air, which ended up dropping. So Lindor took back to first base, and then Ronnie was able to throw him out at second base for a force out. So it's kind of a weird area, like a weird play, but it worked out in our benefit.
It's huge. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but just little things like that you wouldn't expect from a 21-year-old, but it's important. One thing that was notable about the lineups versus the Mets, which is our most important series of the year so far, Ozuna did not start any of those games. And I say this, maybe it led to some kind of mental lapse in him, but he got a DUI. He was apparently going like 90 in a 45 or something like that at about 4:30 a.m. on Thursday. So after we won the series and everything's going well. So that's smart. So
I think when asked where he was at, he just said a party.
Yeah.
He just said a party.
But guys, God damn it. Talk about a blurst player for the Braves, like in this contract that we're trapped in.
Because he was fantastic when we got him originally. That last half of that first year we got him, he was putting up all-star numbers.
When he got won the Triple Crown,
exactly,
which is insane. That's like Miguel Cabrera has done that in the last.
And you also alluded to it in other episodes. He was a Gold Glover in the outfield.
Yes.
I mean, he's
I think we signed him for DH.
Well past. No. I know.
Yes.
I'm just saying, talking about what he used to be versus now. The bat and the fielding is just.
It has to be a mental thing now or something. Like he just hasn't been the same player.
He's clearly got trouble.
We started taking him. We started taking him out of the lineup because our strongest lineup does not have him in it. He's liability defensively, and he's not hitting the ball well enough. And we have Wilson Contreras. We have Robbie Grossman, Eddie Rosario.
Rosario.
Oh, I said Wilson.
You said Wilson.
Yeah.
Yes.
I apologize.
Wild Bill.
That's his brother. Yeah,
Wild Bill, if you will.
But yeah, anyways, we have so many better hitters, and like even Von Grissom now is hitting. Yeah,
Grossman's even better.
So he's just low on the totem pole.
Grossman's good too. Like he has solid contact. Honestly,
apparently that's interesting too because he's like immediately fixed something in his swing. So maybe AA was working on that with the scouting team. Like, hey, what's going on with him? Is it something we can tweak? And it was.
I think it's that, but it's also probably a part of like a microcosm, a step down of what happened to Freddie going to the Dodgers. Grissom coming here, because where did Grissom come from again?
Grossman.
Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Grissom.
He
Grossman.
came from the Tigers, so
yeah. So it's like, it's hard, if you're struggling a little bit, it's hard to fix that in the Tigers lineup as opposed to coming to the Braves, and it's like, that top half of the lineup or 2/3 of the lineup is what the pitchers are focusing on. So you're not the guy that they're focusing on.
And the crazy is the bottom half of the lineups produce more than the top half, home run wise. It's nuts.
For sure.
He's done super well. So all this is to say that we don't need Ozuna anymore.
Nope.
He keeps fucking up. Obviously, everybody knows about the domestic violence arrest last season. He was just ended up being suspended 20 games for that, and now with the DUI on top of that, like there's absolutely no excuse, like in this era, this day and age, for someone to be drinking and driving, especially like a multimillionaire at that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. He talked to AA and Snit, and they're like, "Yeah, just come back to the game tonight." Like I was I don't understand that 100%.
So I think because of his contract, he can't be sent down to AAA. Like he's not injured, and we can't like just pretend he's injured now to get him on the IL. Yeah. So like we don't want to be playing with a man down either.
There's no rules on this though. Like,
so what's going on is probably MLB is investigating it now. So there's like the legal process will play out. He's in like nothing has happened so far. He's not in jail still, and like it wasn't as severe as the domestic violence thing.
Right.
Luckily not luckily. When that happened, he was already injured anyway, so he wasn't taking up a roster spot. But like I think we would actually have to outright release him to free up a roster spot.
And that's why I heard we'd have to eat the money. We'd have to eat it.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is weird.
Which we can do. So I mean.
Yeah, so
I get not wanting to do it. I'm not saying.
Yeah,
but we could.
Because what would the buyout be? I mean, it was like a 70.
It's a guaranteed contract, so there's like 3 years left on the contract to like probably
that's
another
a crazy
50
part.
million.
Yeah. It's the one bad contract that AA's done, and I don't
because it was like 4 years, 72 or something like that, or
it was
4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah. And I think the domestic like horrible situation, I think that really wrecked his career too, because like he just hasn't been the same since he did that.
No,
which
I was saying, and I don't think that. I think that's just what we're outwardly seeing. There's something going on with him
inwardly,
upstairs.
Yes,
and we're just seeing the products of it with the domestic violence and the DUI, because that's just the things he's gotten caught doing. I mean, we don't know what he's doing in his personal life outside of that either.
And so he did actually, for the first time he played on Sunday, started in left field. That was partially because Ronnie like tweaked his leg or something like that, so they didn't want him in the outfield. So Ronnie was DHing, Ozuna was in left, and then also Eddie Rosario was
Super Rosario.
He tweaked his Rosario. Dang it, I say it perfectly, then we get on the podcast and I'm like, dang it.
I do the same thing, dude. Every time
I read it and I'm like, it does not come out right.
I'll look I'll say the word and I'll stop like someone finish it for me. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes. Anyway, Eddie, I'll just call him Eddie. Eddie tweaked his hamstring as well. It's not super serious, but they didn't want him in the outfield either, so that's why Ozuna played.
He's been seeing the ball well too, honestly.
Ozuna or Eddie?
No, Eddie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much better.
Much better.
I mean, there's a reason that like Ozuna is so far down the pecking order.
Yes.
But yeah, so Ozuna actually got to play today. And it's telling, like it seems like all of Braves Nation is on the same page with this. He got booed when he came up to his first at bat, and then he struck out, and then he got booed after that at bat. And that's just to say, like, Braves fans are not Phillies fans. We're not Mets fans. We're not Yankees fans. We don't boo our own players like that ever.
No,
I've never.
That's
never
not a
that.
thing.
I've never
you
heard
have to fuck up so bad. Like
Yeah.
I don't think like you could struggle enough in Atlanta as a player only on the field to get booed.
Dude, most
I
time
don't think that's how our fans are.
Braves fans a lot of time will make excuses for why they're doing it. Like that happens all the time. We're a very homer city. Like we protect our players because that's the thing. If the Braves are doing well, all of Atlanta cheers for them. If the Braves aren't doing well, it's just the super fans who are like always sticking up for the Braves. So that's why. And
just back to the thing, I wanted to say this earlier. I totally get why we did it. I'm not saying it was this at all, but it is a slightly bad optic of like, all right, you got charged with DUI, so your punishment is going to be you're starting in left field tonight.
Right.
Well, there's a few days in between that. But if I were them, I would be like, okay, we're just gonna be down a player tonight. We don't want you in the dugout. Like,
right. Yeah, I couldn't. He was back the
strictly
first
for
night in the
optics.
dugout.
I also
Yeah.
wonder how he is in the clubhouse relationship wise,
He-
like how the other players view him.
He apologized after the domestic abuse to like the team and all that stuff. I mean, an apology don't go so far if you're not showing in your other actions.
Yeah, he
But
basically said the same shit. Like he's disappointed in himself that he let down his teammates and the fans.
and then he's like, it's a
dude,
legal matter. You
get one of those. You get one of
Yeah.
those. You don't get two.
Plus, it's also like, I mean, I'm not trying to strip him of any sort of credit, especially because of what Hayden said also, but it's like, let's not pretend like it wasn't the Braves PR person sitting him down and going, okay, you're going to say this and you're going to say that and you're going to say it in front of the media.
Apparently they asked him not to say anything to the media after the second apology.
Oh,
but
really?
He did anyways. But like it was basically the same thing as the last one. But I will say, so like trying to put myself in AA's shoes, what do I do? Because you don't want to be short a player. You don't want to eat the entirety of this contract. So I think from that perspective, I think AA is waiting to see if there's any type of suspension that comes from MLB. For any stretch of games that he's suspended, we're not on the hook for his contract. So we'd save a little bit of money there.
And it doesn't, it's the contract continues to tick off time. We just don't have to pay him, right?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And then after, if he is suspended by MLB, then like that also gives us more grounds to void his contract as part of like the player conduct policy.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask you that if there was something in the MLBPA or if it was in his contract specifically about when you could void it.
It's just like a general like league policy for all players. Like you have to follow this, or like you should not be representing Major League Baseball anymore.
Right.
Can the DUI build off the domestic abuse and so like actually stack up to be something that's voidable, or
that's a good question. So I do have in here in my notes, I was looking up other players that have had DUIs and like what happened to them and stuff. Miguel Cabrera, Sin-Shu Chu, Danny Duffy, Giovanni Gallardo, they're all arrested in like the past 10 years for DUIs, and none of them ever received suspensions at all. Wow. Which that's also pretty shitty that's just overlooked.
Wild.
Shout out Tony La Russa, because he's also gotten in trouble for that a few times.
Did y'all see him fall asleep in the dugout the other night?
Oh my God.
Because y'all know he's back managing. He's with the White Sox.
No, he's also the same pitcher who pulled his pitcher on a 1-2 count. Was that
what it was? Doing that. He's done that multiple times this year.
Yes. It was also sorry, not
that's
to,
what I meant.
I saw a couple funny Tony La Russa things. So he falls asleep in the dugout. They caught him red-handed on camera, falling asleep in the dugout. That same game, it was apparently, oh God, I can't remember if it was like he was gonna, we have the DH now, so it wasn't like pinch hitting for.
No, I know what you're talking about.
And the fan sitting down there near the dugout starts yelling at La Russa to pinch hit a certain player, or was it pinch run?
Pinch run. He's like pinch run angle.
Yeah,
pinch run angle. And
so
then
he
like
does. Yes.
Tony like wakes up and then goes out there and he tries to call a timeout in the middle of a bat, which that's not something you really do in baseball.
No.
Like you usually make those decisions before the at bat starts and stuff.
Yes.
So it was just bizarre.
Anyway, so he puts angle in, and he ends up scoring the winning run. I believe if it wasn't the winning run, it was a go-ahead run. But anyway, I just thought that was the funniest.
The fans out there trying
a fan literally had to tell him what to do, and it worked.
Not to be a White Sox podcast, but they should bring Joe Madden in there and get that Chicago magic again. I feel like the White Sox have a good team. They just need a better manager.
Yeah. Hey, La Russa's a Hall of Famer already, but he's a little past his prime.
Speaking of, let's get all the non-Braves talk out now, because one thing I wanted to mention was, even though we hate them, they're our rival, but if you could point to one reason why the Mets are not doing Mets things this year, it's Buck Showalter.
Oh,
I mean, he's come in there and just they're so well coached, and it's evident every single time they play, and you can't look any further than that, man. I mean, what he did with the Orioles several years back when they had Machado and all that, that was the last time the Orioles were good before now. It's just, I don't know. I think he's one of the best managers in like the modern era.
Yeah. Look at the roster compared to our roster. I think you could say easily our roster is better than theirs, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's the coaching. It's the difference. I'm not saying Snicker's a bad manager, but he just, I think Snicker's more happy-go-lucky, like we talked about.
He's a player's coach for sure.
He is.
It's I don't know. I guess it's all strategy based, and like they're making the most of the players that they have, and like they're kind of doing what other teams don't, and they're trying to play small ball more, and
right.
That kind of stuff. You got to pull the right strings, and you got to kind of be a puppeteer and it doesn't look like you're doing that much, but
and
he's
it
doing
also
very well.
To the Snicker thing, I also was thinking about this, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong or if you don't agree, but I feel like Snicker benefits so much, and this is going to sound like a easy take at first. He benefits so much from having AA as his GM because he's able with AA. He's like, here's a roster that's so good. You just try to fuck it up. I dare you. You can't. So it's like just make normal baseball manager position or decisions, and then be a good leader in the clubhouse and someone the players look up to and that like playing for, and will be good. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. I will say this though. I'll give Snicker credit here. Like his lineups have been incredible. Like the way he has the 1, 2, 3, and then the 7, 8, 9, how it can always play back into the 1, 2, 3 again.
Yeah. I'm not saying that AA is running the show. I'm not saying he's
but
up the lineups,
I agree.
But yes. Yeah. No, Snicker does what he's supposed to do, and he does it well.
Yeah. I mean, we cannot doubt him after last year. He knows,
No.
especially down the stretch. I think that this past week was kind of a turning point, and like, all right, we're not screwing around anymore with the lineups. Like, the players that are hot are going to play, and the ones that aren't, like Ozuna. So I think we're going to see less and less of him. He's kind of be off the bench bat, and that's it.
We might start seeing less of Dylan Lee too. I think he's testing him for playoffs, and I just don't know if Dylan Lee's passing these tests in high pressure situations.
Yeah, he got bailed out against the Mets. I mean, well, no. Was it the Mets that he actually gave up? Was it the game we lost that Dylan Lee came in?
No, he did well in the Mets. Like he gave up a run. I think we recovered or something like that. Like he did.
Yeah,
I don't think he lost the Mets. Maybe he might have helped us lose. I know he gave a run.
I can't remember. He might have come in more than, I mean, I think he played more than just the one game.
But the Astros, yes.
I feel like Snick kind of left him open against the Astros because he pitched him 2 days in a row.
Yep.
Which, they're the best team in the National League or in the American League. So they touched him up the second day, and that's why we lost.
Is Dylan Lee left-handed?
Yeah. So he was trying to play the matchups a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also, the one thing I wanted to address with that, sorry to keep derailing you from, but we're doing a Brave-centric cast tonight. We do know that.
It's true. There's a lot going on.
Yes. But man, talk about, I know we've spoken about him a lot. Last year, everyone talked about how integral he was, but having Ron Washington at third base and just how good he is at what he does over there, plus how well he helps the young guys himself.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
so he's the third base coach and the infielders coach, so he does so much work with that.
Exactly. And just particularly, I know we talked about it on Discord when it happened, but was it the game? Was it the first Astros game or it might have been the last Mets game? I know it was the last Mets game.
Grissom.
When Grissom scored from first.
Yeah.
He scored from first on a Dansby double, I think. And it honestly,
Michael Harris.
Thank you. On a Michael Harris double. And by all rights, with a poorer third base coach, he stops at third. But the way, I mean, Ron's he's got his eyes on the center fielder. I think it was Nemo. Nemo didn't run through the ball. Nemo just kind of stopped and picked it up. So he waves him around. I think if Nemo comes through the ball, he stops him at third. But it's just so intelligent to where he's like, he knows exactly when to call him based off what the other team does and who he's got running.
Grissom also had like a top 20 base speed, like for that rounding the bases. I think it was top 20 for the season so far. Like he was crazy. Flying. Yeah.
From first to home off of what probably should have been a single. It was only a double because
of Grissom. Yeah, going home.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's just crazy.
Yeah, like to your point, the subtleties that Ron is able to pick up on as a third base coach, the little things that he does with all our infielders, especially the young guys, it makes a big difference. And essentially, Ron has coached a lot of teams like as
World Series teams,
World Series teams with the Rangers. So
he's in Moneyball. I mean, not himself, but he's depicted in Moneyball.
I mean, so essentially we have two managers in the dugout, two major league managers. So that's definitely an advantage, and we're lucky to have
I think we have one of the best coaching staffs in all of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be at least top 5, if not top 3, if not the best. I don't know. It's up there.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's very much evident, yes.
Championship team. How could you say otherwise?
I mean, come on.
So let's move on to the Michael Harris contract. Some happier news from the Ozuna shit. Michael Harris last Tuesday, I think he signed an 8-year, $72 million deal. The news broke during the game, so that was a little bit confusing. It's like, I mean, I guess there's a leak, which typically doesn't happen with the Braves. The Braves are usually the first to announce it. So I'm sure AA's not happy about that.
Did y'all see all the tweets around Major League Baseball? Just fans pissed. The Braves are like, everyone keeps saying we're destroying contracts, like we're ruining the market. But it's like, one, aren't we helping the small teams not have to compete with like the Yankees and stuff by lowering some of these numbers? And two, we're taking risks. Like every time we do this, it takes a risk. I know you're about to get into it. But like it's always risky. Like you don't do something with Michael Harris unless you think Michael Harris is the truth. Like if you think he is going to be the next Andrew Jones or better.
Exactly. So it's an 8-year deal, $72 million. There's 2 additional years that are club options. And there's 2 things here, and I'm going to kind of go on a rant here because I'm pretty passionate about it.
Let's go, baby.
I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing the narrative that these deals are bad for the players, like Ozzy, Acuna, other guys that have gotten contracts early like this. Basically, every fan base around the league is pissed every single time we sign a player like this long term. And like I'm tired of it for not the normal reason. People think it's like racist that we're underpaying or think that we're underpaying these players and stuff like that. That's just not the case.
It's like also Austin Riley, we gave contract to Matt Olson. Like all these contracts have been reasonable contracts.
Yes. Yeah, they are. And secondly, do you realize how much money $1 million is, let alone $72 million is? And I'm going to get into an example
first of all, I know that was a rhetorical question, but the answer is no. I don't know how much money that is as far as like I mean I know how much it is, but you know what I'm saying as far as none of us have come close to that. I mean that's just ridiculous.
No, I wish.
Yeah,
God, I wish.
So I'm going to put it like on a scale for you guys. I'm going to break out like kind of how much money this is. So in my analysis, I'm going to use an example of $50,000 as like a base. So say that's how much money you make. If you make $50,000 per year, it would take you 20 years to earn $1 million. God. It would take you 1,440 years to make $72 million. It's ridiculous. So that's how long. That's how much money this is.
So I just want to quit working now, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, dang it. Hey, I need to pause 1 second, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa. What is going on with my freaking internet? Are y'all there?
Yeah, we're here. Yeah. Blake's being an asshole, but yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. Like my document's not updating anymore. Sorry. Oh. Are y'all doing it again? You sons of bitches.
Are you doing it again?
It was kind of hard. I was starting to laugh. I was like,
God.
What is happening?
Y'all see that while Hayden's figuring that out? Did y'all see that TikTok of the dudes that did that on a Zoom meeting? I think it was set up, but it was like 4 or 5 guys. That
like work. Was it like a work?
Yeah,
Zoom
for
meeting?
work.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, Tom." The boss is like, "All right, Tom, tell me how this is going." And he's like, "I'd love to." So starting in quarter 4, and just like freezes, and then he's like, "Okay, maybe we lost Tom. Derek, tell me what you're working on." And each one of them does that.
Oh,
and then finally the boss is like, "Derek, I can see your fan moving. Okay, I know that you're not frozen." It was so good.
It was so good.
Maybe I can pull up my document on my phone because I don't know how my internet's disconnected from the Google Sheets, but not you.
But
guys.
not from here. Yeah, that's strange.
Sorry.
So what happened to me last time? Is your internet out completely?
No, I'm still talking to you guys, so it can't be.
Well, mine went out completely last time, and I talked to y'all for like another couple of minutes. It was weird.
That is weird.
Okay. It's gonna be hard for me to read off this goddamn table on my phone.
What was the last thing we said?
I was breaking down how much money $1 million was.
That's right. Yeah, and I said let's just quit working.
Yeah.
He was explaining it to how it would be for us poors.
Yeah.
Yes, us po.
Yeah.
I'm still recording this too, by the way.
Sick.
That's all right. Get something good.
Get all that good stuff.
Yeah, we got the freeze thing.
We did get the freezes.
Yeah. Are you guys doing it again?
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to really follow along with you guys. Maybe it'll. Okay, now it's fucking working.
Oh.
I blame Google.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe Google's being fucked.
Those are strong words, brother.
They are, especially since we don't go against Daddy Google.
No.
They
They'll
can hear
come for you.
Google
Yeah,
can hear you right now.
Literally at all times, they're listening.
All right, I'm just gonna run the rest of my segment off the phone, and then we can move on.
That's cool.
Okay, I'm gonna resume recording on mine.
All right, let's bust it.
3, 2, What?
All right. So now that we've broken out exactly how many years it would take you to reach $72 million if you made $50,000
Too
a year.
many.
Too many years.
I'm gonna break down like a growth comparison if you made $50,000 and got the raise that Michael Harris just got.
Oh, love that.
Okay, so Michael Harris before the contract, he was going to make over the next 6 years. He's going to make $700,000 for the next 4 years, and then the 3 years after that, he was going to make those would be arbitration years. And so
Okay.
I was being generous in this. He would probably make $3 million, $6 million, and then $12 million. So that's pretty good. It's a lot of money.
Pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So through 2028, he would make $23,800,000. All right. Then Michael Harris after the contract extension, he would still make $700,000 this year. Next year he would make $5 million, as well as the year after that he would make $5 million. Next 2 years would be $8 million. The year after that, $9 million. The year after that, $10 million. The year after that, $10 million. Then $12 million, $15 million, and $20 million.
Wow.
So that's a total of, like, with the contract or with the club options, it's $102 million.
Wow.
And then just so, like, as to compare to the 23.8 through 2028 from pre-contract, he's going to be at $45,700,000 just through 2028.
Wow.
So that is a substantial jump in salary. Now let's take a look if this were you making $50,000. So your boss promises you that you're going to make $50,000 for the next 3 years, but then the year after that you're going to make $214,000.
God.
The year after that, $428,000, and the year after that, $857,000.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I'd do that.
That's the comparison to pre-new contract. So
Right.
that's a total of $1.7 million you make through 2028. So now, let's say your boss offers you a new contract, and it's going to look like this. You're going to make $50,000 this year. Next year, you're going to make $357,000.
Yeah.
As well as the year after that, you're going to make $357,000. Then the next 2 years after that, you're making $571,000. The year after that, $642,000. The next 2 years after that, $714,000. The year after that, $857,000. And then the next 2 years, you are up over $1 million per year.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I'm doing it.
So
I'll do that every time. Yeah.
I'm doing it
so
every
through
time.
2028 alone, you're going from making $1.7 million to $3.2 million. And now everybody's argument about this being a ripoff is that they're giving up too much of their market capacity of, like,
Right.
how much money they can make
how much
on the
money they
open
could.
market.
Yes.
He is under contract for 6 more years, and he does not hit free agency. Now the team is taking on risk, and he's only played, I don't know, 60 games in the
Yeah,
majors.
exactly.
Right.
He
That's
may
the
not
benefit
pan
here.
out. He could just be hot.
Yeah.
And, like, that's
God,
the same
and
thing we
which-
did with
that would be-
Ozzy.
that'd be
That's the same
bad.
thing we did with Ronnie.
It is.
That's why we get him cheap.
And to the other point of, like, asking why, like with the Ozzy and the Ronnie deals, and now this, it also speaks to the, as far as, like, why are they doing this, and people bringing up the dumb, it's racist that we're offering them these contracts, which obviously everyone with a brain knows that that's not true. And so
Yes.
the thing I'd like to get at, though, that they're not considering is they want to play for the Braves. We are
Yes.
a badass team. We are run extremely well.
Yeah.
We have a fun coach to play for, and it's a fun clubhouse to be in. They want to be here. They just won a championship. They are not dumb. They see the potential to win multiple championships.
Yes.
You're playing it with your boys, the guys like with Michael and Vaughn that came up essentially together. It's not like this is some sort of, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to take the early money now and maybe decrease my market share, or my market in the future. It's like, no, I'm going to make the money now because I might get hurt. And also I'm playing with a really good fucking team.
Yeah, I think the other thing is too here is AA is trying to not only reward and keep his guys, but also incentivize his guys. Because, like, otherwise, like you said, Michael Harris could play the next 6 years making next to nothing, or AA can go out on a limb, and be like, you know what, I see star potential. Let's give you a long-term deal what makes you feel secure, and give us something that's team friendly if he pans out the way we think he is going to pan out.
Yeah.
Not to mention
And
that
it's like,
he gets to sign another deal after this because he'll be in his prime. So he's going to,
Yeah,
he'll will
exactly,
cash
because
in.
it's like, hey, you may not make Juan Soto money for the foreseeable future or ever, but you know what you also are going to do? You're going to win more rings than Juan Soto's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's a mutually beneficial deal. It's good for the club. It's if Michael Harris performs, it's great for Michael Harris because he makes sure that he's going to be a very wealthy man for the rest of his days.
Yes.
But even if Michael Harris doesn't perform like all-star caliber numbers every year, he doesn't have to on the deal he's got signed for. You know what I mean? Like but the money per year makes it where it doesn't have to be an all-star player to be a value contract. But if he performs like a all-star that we think he can be, then it is obviously a value added contract.
So it's literally, in a world where people think win-wins don't exist, it's literally a win-win.
A win-win. It just looks ridiculous because of how good he is.
Yes.
But no one's going to. I'm sorry, the Yankees aren't going to buy out Aaron Judge during arbitration and do something like this. You know what I mean? They wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, why blame the Braves so much? And I know there's a lot of smart fans for these teams that don't do this. We're just seeing the reactionary, hopefully the loud minority. But it's like, don't get mad at the Braves. Don't get mad at AA. Get mad at your team. General manager.
Oh, you can do this.
Yeah. You guys can do this because
this is the new Moneyball.
If they're older than a year, then they should know, and they have a pulse. They should know the Braves don't throw a ton of money around.
Nope.
The Braves won a championship doing it, the Moneyball-ish way. And we spend more money than the A's. I'm not saying
now especially we spend more.
Yeah, now especially, like you said, and we have a bigger brand than the A's. So maybe that was a poor comparison. But still though, you look at what the Braves do. Even a team like Tampa Bay getting to the World Series a couple years ago and what they can do with that roster. Yep. Yeah, it gives hope to the smaller market teams, and just be mad at your team for not doing it.
I think also this proves something too to the Braves ownership is that, hey, actually, if we perform well, we make more money. So let's spend more money so we continue performing well because we'll make more money.
I think that would be obvious and that all
you
would
think
you would think that.
But no, they want to tank and then try to come back.
Yeah,
because they're bored. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. This is a novelty project for them because they're rich as hell anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, really, we're in good hands with AA, and he's done such a good job, and we're building the team the right way. We're getting young talent. We're keeping them, and these other fans are mad because the only thing that they can do is bring in really expensive players from free agency, and then they don't pan out.
Exactly.
So that's what happens with the Mets. That's what happens with the Phillies, and then it never works.
And then even to the other aspect of it, and I know I kind of touched on this already with wanting to be in Atlanta, but it's kind of like, you look at Tom Brady taking less money for the Bucks to bring back that team that won the Super Bowl. I mean, it's essentially doing that. It's like, hey, you're going to make more money than you ever have. You're going to be set for the rest of your life. You're going to win ball games. And it also makes it to maybe I can make your left fielder Aaron Judge next year.
Yep.
Maybe.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
great.
Yes.
And it's very comparable to what LeBron did for years, not taking the most money he could. He finally just signed that $90 million 2-year contract, which is ridiculous. But
I'm glad you brought that up. I read that on my phone the other day at work, and I had to do a double
he's cashing in though.
Holy shit. 2 years, $98 million.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. But I'll say he's been pushing money away this whole time, trying to save to get more people on his team.
After the debacle last year,
just let him cash in. I don't either.
It's just like, oh, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna make money right now. Like,
I think they're gonna try to crash so they can draft Bronny. They're literally.
Plus, did he already crack $1 billion in worth?
Oh yeah.
If he didn't, he's probably close.
Yeah, he's got to be close because I know he does so many more things that.
Yeah, I'll look at
make him money. But anyway, so back to the Braves.
Yeah, so real quick, we're done with Michael Harris' contract. Good for him. Good for the Braves. All right, and the last thing for the Braves here, the Soroka Show is back. Mike Soroka started in High A Rome. He had a rehab start. He threw 4 innings, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts, and 14 batters. He's going to have 2 starts in AAA this week, one of which was today. So good start so far. Do you know how he did today?
Yeah, so today I looked it up, and he had 2 earned runs on 6 hits and in 3 1/3 innings pitched. So, not the worst start, but he did also jump up 2 levels.
Yeah.
So much better competition going against.
I was watching someone live stream his high A start, and they're like, well, we're just looking to see what Soroka's got. And then oh my God, he struck out the side. He struck out the side again. They were just like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Was that what you sent us? It was a thread.
Yeah,
right?
So a thread.
Live tweeting what happened. Yes. Good.
It's exciting. You got to be happy for him. The amount of issues that he's gone through with that fucking Achilles.
God.
But just for it to be holding up and to be on a mound again throwing is awesome.
It's a win.
Hopefully he starts picking up some traction and doing well. And I just have to remind you, he's 25 years old still, after being out of the league for 2 years with injuries. So he could definitely come help us.
That's the scary part about this Braves starting rotation, because you have Max Fried, Soroka, Anderson, Kyle Wright, and the mustache himself, Strider. Yeah, like you have 5 guys. How old is Max Fried? 28.
Yeah, he's 28.
So he's the oldest of the bunch. Yep. Like they're all in prime. Yeah, they're all prime pitching age. Actually, a couple of them are pretty young for prime pitching age.
By the way, I thought of this the other day. We've been saying Psycho Max and Psycho Fried. It's Mad Max.
Mad Max.
We missed a huge opportunity.
Well, that's Max Scherzer, so we might have to find something else. But Max might retire here in the next couple of years, so then it would be.
Hope so.
Yeah, it's like what's the other team that tries to steal the night shift from us? Was it the Mariners?
Yeah, it's the Mariners. They were like, what should we call our really good bullpen? I know, the night shift.
The night shift. That's never been done before. Certainly not in recent memory.
Yeah, can't remember that at all. It's because they just don't watch the World Series if the team doesn't make it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, the Mariners haven't had a lot of playoff watching.
And we had another pitcher with a AAA start, Ian Anderson. He has 2 starts down there now. He's working on his stuff, or he'll have his second start this week. It wasn't a great line. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, but he had 4 walks. So they really have him working on his off-speed stuff, but we need to see the walks start going down. I'm sure he's just working on like the release and stuff like that, technical stuff right now. So after the second start, hopefully we start seeing the walks go down, prove he can control it, and then he can come back up and maybe replace Odorizzi in the rotation at the last part of the year.
Yeah, we're going to need one of these players to step up. I feel bad for Odorizzi, and like that's a kind of miss there, I guess, right now. But I think Odorizzi, if he gets out of this higher leverage situation, we can pull one of these other pitchers back up, it might give him a better shot to succeed.
Yeah, and he can contribute out of the bullpen too in long relief.
Yeah.
So it may not be a total bust, but yeah, it's just not what you'd hope so far. We did give up Will Smith to get him, so it's hard to be too mad. But
T-Rex.
Yeah, old T-Rex. But yeah. So speaking of guys that need to get their shit together,
good segue.
How about that Atlanta United? How'd that go this week?
Well, it wasn't great. We had a good last weekend. In the last pod, I think it was, we talked about or the last non-Blurs to the Week pod, which, by the way, if you haven't checked it out, check out Blurs to the Week that came out this past one. But we finally said this is the time to start building off of stuff. I remember Wednesday night when the next game rolled around,
you were so excited.
I was so excited. I was like, I texted you guys both and I was like, hey, it's a Wednesday night game. If you guys don't have anything going on, check out the game. This is the time to build momentum. And boy, did we shit the bed.
I was at a work meeting late. I get out of the car, I see your message. I was like, oh, let me turn on the game. And by the time I turned on the game, you texted back and said, don't waste your time.
I was like, please don't watch the game. I hope you guys didn't watch it. Yeah. No, it was bad. We're not going to get into the recap of it. It's the same old. Like I said, not only do we not want to be fucking ESPN and Bleacher Report over here, just giving you Sports Center highlights, but it's also if I did do that, it's the same shit we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's just the same stuff.
Yeah, so came out, looked great in the first 10 minutes, gave up a goal, and it's like everybody was just completely disheartened. And so speaking of that, when we started the pod, when we threw it around to begin, we were in the 38th minute of a game with Columbus, and Atlanta was up 1-0. So Blake said, hopefully later on in the pod we can talk about something positive. And guess what? We're down 2-1.
What?
Yeah, right now as we speak, they scored in the 66th and the 72nd minute.
Within a couple minutes.
Yeah, within 6 minutes of each other. They not only caught us but passed us. So
it's feeling like the season might be a little bit lost on us at this point.
Yeah, I think that it is. I don't want to.
Is it team makeup? Is it coaching? What is it, Aaron?
That's
help me understand.
Yeah, it's certainly not team makeup, man, as far as talent that we have. Maybe they're not bringing in, maybe they're only focused on talent and they're not bringing in the right guys.
Like
They're not bringing
cohesivity.
in yeah, exactly. I don't know if cohesivity is a word, but
But it works.
it works. People know what I mean.
The Jock Peterson,
cohesion, cohesiveness,
the cohesivity.
Yeah, the cohesivity. Good God. Blake. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna get you a thesaurus for Christmas.
It was obviously a joke.
I know. But anyway,
but I do need one, please. Yes.
Yes, but please give me a thesaurus. Yeah. So, I want to talk about the press conference Wednesday night. So, the post game presser. Real quick, Joseph did bag his 100th career goal, and he is the well. Wanho just scored, so it's 2-2.
Oh,
anyway, he got his 100th goal. He's the fastest player in MLS history to 100 goals, and that is insanely impressive given how much time he's missed from injury.
Oh,
yeah. It just makes me sit here and think what could have been. And wow.
Does it feel like we're squandering his talent a little bit?
It does, man. It really does. And I think
but this is where he wants to be, though, is the sad part, too. Like, he wants to be in Atlanta,
part.
but I think at some point the King's going to be like, we got to win.
Yeah. And so that's kind of evidenced by what he said when Austin FC came in and beat the shit out of us during Blake's little bachelor party weekend, where I watched it on the boat while
you were so sad.
I was. But anyway, so yeah, it boils down to what Gonzalo Pineda said in the press conference for me. And I listened to it on the radio. I was having sad boy hours Wednesday night. So classic unhealthy coping mechanism. I went to the store to get some beer. And as I was going to do that, I was listening to the presser, and Pineda, after talking about Joseph and how, awesome it is that he reached that milestone and broke that MLS record, or set, I should say. It wasn't what you want to hear from a coach that's in the position that he's in. He sat there, and I'm not going to pull up the direct quotes. I'm just going off what I remember him saying, but he was asked questions like, why do we start every single game so well, and then as soon as the other team scores, we fold, we collapse? And he was like, he sat there and to an extent, it's nice that he defended his players, because that's what you want your coach to do.
Yes.
But the way he went about it was less of a defense and more of an excuse. He was like, well, we're all human. And when you put your heart and soul into the game plan and the practice throughout the week, and you get so amped up for it, and then all of a sudden things don't go your way, you're going to have a natural letdown as a human being. And while that is true, you're a fucking professional soccer players. That's going to happen. Like, could you guys imagine in your jobs if you had game plan may not be the right word, but prepared for a certain thing, be it an interview or a presentation or something, some project you're putting together at work, and things didn't go the way you planned exactly, and your boss is looking for a response from that, like, how are we going to fix this? How is it going to get better? What went wrong? And you said, well, listen up, boss. You don't understand that I put my heart and fucking soul into this, and I'm going to have a natural letdown when things don't go well.
Well, boss, I just had a bad night last night, and and this is my natural response is not doing well.
Yeah. Do you think that would turn out well for you? Do you think you would be in your job post for very long after that?
It kind of sounds like he's blaming the players a little bit, though. He's like, the game plan was sound. This is all good, but then the players.
No, I disagree. I think he was actually taking up for them.
Okay.
But and that he wasn't saying my game plan was sound.
Okay.
But I think he also kind of put himself into that category of saying, you game plan like this and it doesn't go your way. Like, bro, we're
That's
paying
your
you
job.
a lot of money to make changes in the game, okay?
Dude.
You get 5 subs now. It's not even 3 like it was in the day. You get 5 subs.
Which is nuts.
You have 8 players on the bench. You can put the majority of them into the game. Why don't you figure it out?
We also have such a deep roster, too.
Yes. We have the most expensive roster in MLS history. And Darren Eales didn't put that roster together Arthur Blank didn't spend that money for us to be in 13th place. Okay. And so I just was not impressed with what he said after the game. I'm not saying it's a fireable offense. I will give him this bit of credit. I truly will. This is not sarcasm. His team doesn't quit. Okay.
True.
We got with Joseph's 95th minute goal that gave him the 100th goal. That was our 11th goal, continuing to lead the MLS in goals in the last 10 minutes of the game or into added time. And while that is slightly impressive and it does show a willingness to not quit, what is not impressive is getting yourself in that position in the first place.
Yeah. Why are we going down early every game?
And it's not necessarily the going down early every game that gets me, even though you're right, that's a problem. Teams are going to score goals against you. It's a very competitive league, especially in the Eastern Conference. Okay. It's not that. What it is to me is that why do we have that mid-game lull after the goal? Why does it take us getting to the last 10 minutes of the game and you and your players looking up at the clock and going, oh shit, we got to kick it back into gear? Stop feeling sorry for yourself for 45 minutes. Do what you're paid to do, or I don't want you in it.
Are we changing the lineups there at the 45? Like, are we changing the way the formation set up in the last 10 minutes of the game? Like, because what if it's like a formation thing that he's just not running early in the game? I'd be curious to see what changes, or if it's just mentality where it's just like, well, we got to try now.
I think it's just mentality. I'm not saying he hasn't ever changed the
right
or the not the lineup, but the formation in the last 10 minutes. I'm not saying it's not that, but from what I'm seeing, what changes in the last 10 minutes is people are running to the ball. They're closing down their gaps.
They're hustling.
They're putting pressure on the person in possession. They're forcing turnovers. They're getting shots on goal. And guess what? That has led to the most goals in MLS in that time frame of the games. Why don't we do that for 90 minutes?
Yeah.
And I get I'm oversimplifying it. I'm not the guy that's out there busting my ass and running around for that long. But it is their job, and it's not my job. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you are oversimplifying it. And I'll say this, any coach in any sport that cannot make in-game adjustments is not longed to be a coach.
No.
Because that's literally the name of the game. Like, you have to see what's going on.
Yes.
You do have a game plan coming in, but you have to adjust.
Yes.
How's your game plan so off every game, too,
Everything's not going to happen. Things are going to deviate. Things are going to change. Somebody might get hurt. You have to be able to make an adjustment and still win games.
It also feels, to Hayden's point there, it also feels like he's not, that he's taking, and I get it, he's got the most talented, or should be the most talented roster in the league, so you'd think you'd be able to do what I'm about to say, but it's like he's not looking at what the other teams are doing.
Right.
And he's just saying, like, we're going to do this because we're better than you. Well, that works if you're in first place and you have the league leader in goals or some shit like that. But when you're in 13th, I'm going to need you to try and predict
scheme
what
the other team.
Scheme for what the other team's doing, and also use your knowledge of the MLS. This man's been in MLS for a long time, over 20 years going
for
back
successful teams, coaching.
Yeah, a long. He's won a lot of trophies as a player, and as an assistant coach as well in Seattle. The man knows the league. He's no stranger to the league. I need him, and he's no stranger to the other coaches in the league. I need him to say, not because it seems like he goes into every game and he's like, this is what I want to do with my lineup, and I want them to try and stop us. Yeah. Well, guess what? They do stop us. And then also, instead, I want him to say, okay, I'm going up against, not just the Philadelphia Union. I'm going up against their head coach, and I know what he likes to do. And I'm going to try to guess what he's going to do based off our weaknesses, which you should know. And I would be surprised if he doesn't. They're glaringly obvious. So I don't know. We can end the suicide session, as Sam likes to call it, this being Sam's soccer seg as it is. So it because the daddy's getting all worked up.
Well, I have a question for you though. Say at the end of the season he does get canned. Do you think the Five Stripes would make like a huge run for like a European coach or something like that, like something kind of crazy?
It's tough to say because of the fact that we don't have our new president yet.
Right. So it's hard to know.
I don't know what he's going to want to do.
Right.
Because you would think that based off where he comes from and what his background is, that he's going to want to take someone that he knows, that he's been familiar
Right.
with. And so it'll all depend with who we get there.
It's not looking good for old Gonzalo here. Like because a new boss is coming in, you need to impress right now. And you're not doing that.
You're not.
I mean, just from the flow of the games too, it feels like he's being directly outcoached during the game. So, especially if we're jumping out to a lead, it seems like the opposite coach is seeing that, making an adjustment, and then overcoming. And like, there's no adjustments being
every
made.
time. So, it's such a direct contrast to not only Tata Martino, who the legend here that got us our title, but because that's what he would do. You would see Tata Martino. If somebody wasn't planning it, if his game plan wasn't working, at halftime, he's taking somebody off. He's switching up. He's switching up the formation, and it worked. I'll never forget one of my most cherished moments as an Atlanta United fan was the year that we won the title. We played San Jose, who, granted, wasn't a great team then, but we were at San Jose. And the game had a 10 p.m. kickoff here on the East Coast. And I had to work the next day. But those are fun for me. Those are like, I have an excuse to stay up late. I might be tired at work the next day, but it with that team, it was usually worth it.
Right.
Well, one of the craziest things I've ever seen. We actually at one point were down 4-0, and we came back to win 4-3.
How's that work?
Yeah, how does that work? Well, that's because they absolutely fucking pop. I don't know if you guys remember Chris Wondolowski.
Yes.
But that's back when he still played for San Jose. Great goal scorer. And Chris led them to 4 goals over us, I think, in the first half. And Brady, our shout out Brady, he was watching the game with me that night, and he was like, all right, man, sorry, but I'm going to bed. And I thought about doing it too, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm sticking with this team. And sure enough, they come out firing in the first half. And sorry, I didn't explain
it's a two-legger.
The goal thing. The what now?
It's like a 2-part.
No. It was a regular season game. What happened was, they went up 3-0 at halftime, I believe it was. Okay. They come out, they score a 4th goal, and that's when Brady goes to bed. And then it was so long after, but VAR calls down to the ref and is like, hey, we actually want to look at something. We're talking like 2 minutes after the goal scored. Like, we've resumed play. Wow. And they're like, yeah, we want to actually look at something. And they actually saw a handball in the box prior to the goal being scored. Not on us, on the
right.
offense. And so they take the goal back. So they go from up 4-0 to 3-0. And that's why I put it that way, because it wasn't your normal.
And we scored 4 goals.
And then we scored 4 goals in that half to win 4-3.
That team could almost do anything, though, it felt like.
They could have, yes. But that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, it took a bit of luck from the handball, and with it being a win versus a draw. It could have been a draw if they don't reverse that. But that's what Tata Martino and those boys on the field did. They enjoyed playing with each other. They had cohesiveness, or cohesivity, as Blake said.
Cohesity.
Yeah, cohesity. And then Tata Martino made adjustments that worked. So
he's all hot and bothered tonight, everybody. We may need to pivot off of United
I think that's exactly what we should.
Any issues?
So
anyway. Punches his monitor.
Yeah. God damn it. All right. So anyway, So Atlanta United, not in a good spot. In fact, let's see while we're here what that game looks like. All right, still 2-2. So you know what?
The 90th minute.
90th minute. All right. So let's move on to the UGA season preview that we've been continuing here. So today we got the big uglies, folks. We got them hog necks, them hog mollies. I got both of them in, Hayden, just in case.
You talking about yourself?
Yeah. Do what?
What?
Coach Webster, shout out.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out Coach Webb. Huge role model for me. All right, so the O-line, that's where we're going, folks. So since it's a 5-man position group, I'm really just going to talk about the projected starters.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a ton of time to get through the depth chart there, but working our way from left tackle to right tackle, it's projected that Broderick Jones is going to be the starter at left tackle. So he's a redshirt, or he's going to be a redshirt sophomore to lead into this year. He is on the coach's freshman all SEC. No, I'm sorry. To lead into last year, he was on the coach's freshman all SEC team. He played in every game. In fact, he started the last 4 games of the regular season at left tackle, which again, that's where he's going to be playing this.
As a freshman.
Yeah, as a redshirt freshman, yes. And that was in relief to Jamari Salyer, who we saw come back in the playoffs and the national championship game, who kicked Aiden Hutchinson's absolute asshole. So that was phenomenal to see. But yeah, so Broderick Jones, he looks to be an absolute stud there.
Yeah, he's a monster.
I don't think there's going to be any letdown from Salyer to him. He's from Lithonia, Georgia. And he was an absolute stud there. Blake, I know you always like to talk about a man's hot body. This guy is 6'4", 310 pounds.
It's a lot of man there.
That is a lot of man. He's phenomenal. This body, he looks good. I think he's going to be, like I said, no letdown. I think that he's going to just absolutely pick up where Sawyer left off, and in fact, perhaps be all SEC. That's a good idea to have there, Blake. All right, so let's move on from Broderick Jones, though. We're going to tackle the left guard, or the projected left guard, as Amarius Mims.
It's a good name.
Let me go ahead and get it right out of the way. It's something you don't see often. Normally, your tackles are going to be your tallest dudes on the O-line, but we're going from a 6'4" left tackle to a 6'6", 330 left guard.
How big a boy are you? My God.
Yeah, this man is big. Also from a Georgia native. He's from Cochran, Georgia.
Shout out Evan.
Oh, is he? Was your old roommate? Was he?
Yeah, college roommate.
Sweet.
Shout out Evan.
I didn't remember that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Cochran, Georgia.
Yes, sir. So this is one that's going to be that's more of a question mark. So he's a true sophomore. Last year is a true freshman. He got in the UAB game, which, as we remember, was 69-0. Or was it 69-7? I think it was nothing.
It wasn't close.
No, yeah. Regardless of the 7 or the 0, it was not close. But yeah, so he played in 7 other games because, like most smart teams do, even with your big boys, you rotate them in and out. So he played against Arkansas. He played against Auburn. He played against Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Tennessee, and Georgia Tech. But beyond that, he doesn't really have many stats. So I'm hoping that he is still the guy at that position because it's awesome to have a huge body there.
He looks like he could be a people mover for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what we're hoping that he does.
Yeah.
But like I said, no real discernible stats to talk about. He really only got in the games that were not that many games were close for Georgia, but he saw really just only action as a reserve. UAB and Charleston Southern being the 2 games that he played the most time in. So that's kind of a question mark, like we said. But I will say, as far as hype, we go back to his high school days, and he was actually the number 1 prospect out of the state of Georgia.
Wow.
He was a 5-star offensive tackle. We've moved him inside the guard. And then the crazy thing was he was actually the 7th overall prospect in the entire nation that year. So highly touted recruit, and it looks like this year's the year to see if he lives up to that.
Hopefully that dividend will pay off.
Yes. So let's move on to the most important position in the football team. My most cherished position.
Your former position.
My former position myself. And the coolest name on the entire, well, maybe not the entire roster. One of the coolest names on the entire roster. And that's our center, Cedric Van Pran.
The old Van Pran.
Yes, sir. And that's Cedric with an S, folks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Saucy.
Yes, saucy. Speaking of saucy, the man's hails from New Orleans. All right. So we got him out of LSU's backyard, taking him up there.
Down the meow.
Yeah, down in the meow. And saucy ball, or whatever the fuck they say down there. And so yeah, we brought over, he's a redshirt sophomore. He saw a good bit of playing time last year. And that's an understatement because he started all 15 games at center. This is actually the coolest stat that I've got of anyone on the O-line. He actually played more snaps during the regular season than anyone on the entire roster, including This is the crazy part, including playing every possible offensive play in 8 games last year. Wow. So he saw 90% of all snaps.
Backup center didn't get much work, did he?
No, he did not. And that makes sense because center's the one of the positions the O-line you don't really rotate, and that's just because of the rhythm and
the nature of
the cohesivity that he needs to have with the quarterback, especially out of the gun. So this is the crazy thing. Both Alabama games, Michigan, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, Auburn, Arkansas, and Clemson, he played every single offensive snap. So I think that is just insanely impressive. And that leads to him being on the preseason watch list for the Remington Trophy, which, as most folks should know, because it's it's essentially better than the Heisman.
That name's very fitting.
Yeah, it is, because it goes to the nation's top center. So yeah, we're looking for, by the end of the year, him to be the winner of that trophy. But let's move on then. We're going to go to a guy that had kind of a maligned season last year because he was one of our most promising guys coming into his role as starting right guard. As starting right guard last year. Blake, he's a big fellow.
Yeah, he is.
He's 6'6", 315. And that's Tate Ratledge. So go ahead.
He's number 69 and he has a mullet. A mullet in his stash.
It's beautiful. And I love the switch because last year he was 51. And while he was our opening game starter at right guard against Clemson, in the first quarter he left from injury, and I don't believe he got back on the field the rest of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, so that kind of sucks. So he's going to have a new start at it. He's a redshirt sophomore this year. Yeah, he's going to try again. And so I think he may have gotten a medical redshirt. I'm not positive. I could be wrong because he did play in a game. So
also, how unique is it that, like you said, both of our guards are taller than both tackles?
Yeah.
Sizably.
Right. What about Stetson seen over the line?
Yeah, right.
That's true. So that might actually have something to do with why we brought them inside because, Warren McClendon, the guy we're about to cover, he's the right tackle, and he's 6'4". So Blake brings up a good point. That might be slightly, probably not a ton, but at least given some thought to Stet's height. Because he needs to see over the center and he needs to see over both tackles. But those guards are normally going to be a little bit lower just based off the nature of how they block most of the time. So let's go ahead and go over Tate Ratledge because kind of an unknown there, though I do think he's going to be good. And go straight to the guy we just mentioned, Warren McClendon. So we talked about his frame. He was also named to the preseason All-SEC first team coming into this year. And just like Cedric Van Pran, he started all 15 games last year. So he was up there with Van Pran playing in 86% of all total offensive plays, including 100% of both Alabama games, Florida, Michigan, and Clemson. I think the two rocks on the offensive line are Van Pran and McClendon, and that could not be more clear. And we got question marks at both guard positions. And then Broderick Jones on the other left tackle position played a lot last year, though he wasn't a starter. So I think if you're going to have two question marks, it should be both your guards. So the fact that we've got veterans at center and right tackle, and then a guy who's no stranger to play time at left tackle bodes very well for this position group going forward.
Are you worried? Because I've heard this worry a couple times about the fact that Sam Pittman's gone, that our recruiting going forward may not be as good at on the offensive line side. Because I know Alabama right now is actually their whole team's coming back, but their offensive line is pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
And I know some people are hypothesizing that Georgia could become like that too because we're not doing as good of a job in the trenches.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't locked down as many recruits on the offensive line as we were when Sam Pittman was there. Sam Pittman is just kind of the best offensive line coach I've ever seen. And it's insane to me. And that is evidenced by the fact that he went straight from offensive line coach to head coach. Yeah. That does not happen. I mean, you guys know enough about
and they
football.
had a great season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They did.
They're a crap team.
Back. They're back. Before we kicked Arkansas, he's Arkansas's head coach.
Head coach. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember before we kicked their dick in the dirt, they were top 10. I believe that was a top 10 matchup in Athens. I think we were number 2 and they were number 3.
Let's go back to that phrase real quick. Kicked his dick in the dirt. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. Is that a common phrase?
That's common.
Kicked it right in the dirt.
I don't think I've gone a day since 2008 without using it. Yes,
an entire day. Wow.
Either kicked or knocked. But knocked the dick in the dirt, kicked their dick in the dirt.
Either way, it's in the dirt.
Yeah,
that's not where you want it to be either.
If someone's dick is in the dirt, it's bad. Generally, if anyone knows anything about dirt or penises, they shouldn't be together.
I gathered that much.
Yes. So it's
nailed that analogy.
Yeah, nailed that one. Yes. But anyway, so I think that one other thing that may be hurting us, not only from Sam Pittman's departure, but Matt Luke, who took over for Sam Pittman, stepped down after the national championship. I just think that he was Ole Miss's head coach, and then he went from Ole Miss's head coach to UGA's offensive line coach. He did phenomenally after the I got to stop the Trump impressions because it's got me saying the word phenomenally just so much more. But anyway, Matt Luke is not there anymore, and he didn't step down. Like, I think it was a personal thing. It's a family thing. And I know a lot of times when coaches or politicians say that they're stepping down from their post to spend more time with their family, that means that I got caught something doing I shouldn't be doing, or doing something I shouldn't be doing. But that I don't think is the case at all with Matt Luke. I think he just really did want to kind of retire or spend more time with his family without fully retiring. Nice. So Stacey Searles is our offensive line coach. Yeah, hold on a second. I thought that he was with George. Anyway, I don't know much about him, to be quite honest with you. Hopefully he can keep up Matt Luke and Sam Pittman's tenure, or how their tenures went.
He was here 12 years ago.
Stacey Searles was?
Yeah.
Okay. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I think you are.
Yeah, before today I hadn't really seen exactly him because it kind of made me think. But that's right. He was here with Mark Richt as the offensive line coach.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. Not a great time. 08 to 2010 was kind of a good time for UGA. But anyway, all right, folks. So that was the UGA season preview and Sam's suicide soccer session preceding that. So hope we enjoyed it. We're mostly excited to get this fucking season kicked off here in a couple weeks, boys.
Yeah, speaking of offensive line, that's something that's super important for the Atlanta Falcons as we're going into the preseason week 2 here.
Very true. Good segue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I let me just hop on that segue and scoot on over here. So we've been practicing these last couple of days against the Jets and joint practices, which if you kept up with the team last year, you'll remember we practiced with the Miami Dolphins.
Sorry, hold on. You good down there, Hayden?
Yeah,
that statement was fucking fantastic because Blake, that was beautiful. It was a segue, and you made it also mean segue like
riding one,
like the riding segue.
Oh, I missed that. That was great.
It just got me. That was hilarious.
I was wondering if anyone would catch on. I saw you laughing. I was like, what if? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I was trying. I tried really hard.
I missed it. Blake,
that was great.
Did you write? I mean, was that
rehearsed?
That? Yeah, that must have been.
I just I'm enlightened. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to be a better podcaster, and I've been trying to take notes, listening to y'all. Y'all do such a great job. So
we appreciate that.
Yeah. No. So I haven't had a good segue yet, and y'all both have killer ones. So here I am. My first time.
Hell yeah. Well, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I just saw Hayden losing his shit down there. So
what I was saying was last year we played Miami Dolphins in our first joint practices. And I remember everything we were hearing was, oh, we're killing the Dolphins. Like, we're so much better than them. We're going to have a great season because of how great joint practices are going. Arthur Smith didn't even start our starters in the second and third preseason game after that because, like, we're ready for the season. And it turns out this year, this is a tweet from some Jets beat writer, Connor Hughes. If you're a Jets fan, you can follow him. Shout out to Frank. It wasn't often over the last few years that you could say the hashtag Jets were undeniably the best football team on the field. No, you never say that. That was clearly the case these last 2 days. No, the hashtag Falcons aren't good, but it's a sign that New York Jets are building and growing. I just want to say something first. The joint practices were without pads. So, like, this guy's out here, like, hyping it up, like, the Jets are back. playing against one, which, like you said, the Falcons aren't good, but two, they're this for practice without pads, and I think Robert Salah, after the practices, said the practice went really well, and he doesn't think he's going to start the starters Monday night. So we might see the Falcons play the Jets without the Jets starters, which could be interesting. I kind of hope he plays them because I want our first team to be challenged a little bit more than, like, not saying the second team couldn't challenge them, but I would like to see our first team versus their first team.
I am saying the second team can't challenge them.
I mean, I don't know how good the Jets are. I mean,
no, I'm just kidding.
But I want to see Sauce Gardner. I want to see some of these starters out there.
Sauce. That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, he earned that name. So I want to.
He did.
I'd like to see that. I don't know. It makes me. I worry for my Jets friends who are fans of the Jets because I don't know. It just seems like not a wise move from the coach.
Yeah.
Like last year, I remember last year we were talking about this. Like, me and you were pretty upset that Arthur Smith wasn't playing our players. And week 2, it's like, what's going on though? Like, that's a rookie tight end. Like, it's your first time coaching here. So yeah, I don't know. Worries me. The only other team to do that so far this season or this preseason has been the Panthers, who were the only one to do it week 2 as well. The Panthers didn't start any of their starters, and the other team before that was the Patriots, who week 1 didn't start any of their Mac Jones or anything because they're having their own problems. So just interesting. Caleb McGarry apparently had a great practice though these 2 days, and a couple of fights broke out, and some of it came from Caleb McGarry because he's out there not taking any anyone's crap, which is cool. It's good to see him actually starting to live up to his first round hype. We'll see if it translates into the season, but so far he's had a great preseason. So for the game tonight, some things I would like for everyone to keep a note on to watch, and as we go into this next week, is what the O-line battles look like. Is Hennessy or Dahlman outplaying the other? Do we see Mayfield make a push for that starting spot at the guard? And how does Caleb McGarry fare against the Jets defensive line? Right. Then the other thing we want to see is interior defensive line battles. I want to see, is it Graham? Is it going to be Rush? Is Marlon Davidson going to play? Which he actually is now not going to play all preseason. So I think he gets cut. I just don't see Marlon Davidson making the team.
That hurts.
It's sad because he was so explosive in college. Like, watching him play for Auburn, we obviously watch a good amount of their games because they're in our division. And he was so good in college. He just can't stop being injured.
Outside of Grady Jarrett, it's insane. Literally insane how many times this Falcons organization has missed on defensive linemen.
Oh,
it's crazy. Going back, like I said, without Grady Jarrett, he's phenomenal. But God, there, I said it again. But he I mean, Marlon Davidson, Parade Jerry, even Vic Beasley, despite he had a good rookie year.
Takaris McKinley.
Yeah. Tack McKinley, awful. Who's that other guy? Rashid Hageman.
Oh, just awful. No, just awful. Terrible. I think actually one of these picks that went into the grade was Tyson Graham, or the guy we got from Texan Longhorns, defense tackle. He's pretty explosive. His last name's Graham. I don't know, but he might make a push for that starting defense tackle beside Grady. I don't know. Just going to keep up with other things as running backs. Let's watch pass protection. Who can be our third down back? And then look at production. We know CP is going to have a fair share of the backfield, but who's going to be the other supporting pieces? Does Quadri, Allison, or Caleb Huntley make the team? Well, we'll see. And then quarterback decision making. I want to see Ritter make some of these shorter passes. I felt like he did a good job when the the deep pass was open, but his check down, he kind of would run it more than check down. I watched some of that. Who was that? Kurt Warner made that video we watched. It's pretty cool. It honestly got me a little hopeful about Ritter. He was highlighting Desmond Ritter as the best rookie quarterback who played in the first preseason week, which was really interesting. And then our starting middle linebackers, they had a rough first series against the who did we play this last week? Against Detroit Lions. Yeah. They got kind of pushed around in the middle because these, instead of what Dan Quinn did, which I heard was the way Dan Quinn's defense worked was you want to push everything to the outside and then kill it. So you push and kill it. Whereas Dan P's defense is, we want everything to hit the middle, clog the holes, and it's a really physical defense, which is why you saw the Ray Lewis's and the big linebackers and the Patriots. So we just got to see if our linebackers can catch on to that. So anything else you are looking forward to tomorrow's?
Yeah, honestly, Tyler, is it Algier?
Yeah, Algier.
Yeah,
rookie running back.
Honestly, I thought that he looked really explosive when he got in there. I know he didn't play in the last game. I mean, I know he didn't play till the third quarter, I think, because he's got the downside of he technically should be the second running back.
Yes.
But he has the downside of Cordero being that weird hybrid player.
Yep.
To where Cordero's kind of our best wide receiver and our best running back. So I mean, hopefully not with Drake London. So, but still, you get my point.
No, but
Cordero lines up in 2 depth chart positions. So,
Right.
but I thought Tyler Algier looked really good, and I was actually surprised. I went and did a mock draft on for fantasy football to prep for our league, and it got to like around the 10th to 14th roundish, and I actually started seeing his name pop up as a suggestion to draft, and that floored me. I was like,
Yeah, no, and you might see him even higher in our personal draft, which we can talk about in our next little segment.
Yeah.
Just because we'll wait and save it because we're doing a little fantasy special that's going to come out on Wednesday, everybody. So stay tuned for that. We're going to give you our insight. Friends, don't listen to it if you're drafting against us. You'll know too much. But no, yeah, I think you make a great point. I think something that Tyler Algier does better than like Caleb Huntley and Quadri Allison, which is why I don't know if they make the team, is that he's a better pass protector. Like he's really good at picking up the rush on the outside, and he has good hands, and he's a hard runner. So I'm excited to see what he does.
One thing I'll note about the Falcons too, I was watching the breakdown that Kurt Warner did, and a lot of those routes were just really well designed. And honestly, it's given me a bit more optimism about how the offense is going to run.
For sure.
Because, as we've seen in the past with like Steve Sarkisian and other offensive coordinators we had, Dirk Cutter, they have a hard time getting these receivers open in space. And that's half the battle. The second half is getting the ball to them.
Yeah.
So.
You're going to see, I think what's the crazy part is you're going to see a less talented team from some of those teams that had the Julio Jones, the Calvin Ridleys, put up decent offensive numbers just because of correct scheming. Like actually being in a future, not futuristic, but being in the present offense, like actually doing something. Because I feel like some of those offenses were so historic in some ways, like prehistoric, like just old, they were outdated.
Yeah.
So no, I'm excited for that. So now as we're going to hop over to the NBA, we're still in the, off season. We're not even at the preseason yet for NBA, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. The NBA schedules got dropped, so that means the Hawks schedule got completely dropped, which is super exciting. And this is just a time for us to be able to. I mean, we're not going to do our projections yet on the NBA. We'll do our own special episode for that to say like what we project from each conference and what's where the Hawks look like they might finish and how we could make a run. And one reason we're going to wait too is because the Nets, we don't know if KD's going to stay there or not. So that's still up in the air. It kind of changes the whole playoff picture in the East, really, depending on where Kevin Durant goes. But something I want to talk about was if you look at last year when the schedule came out, or last year's schedule is what I'm trying to say, is that we started off the year with that big win against Dallas. It was on ESPN. We're like, wow, the Hawks look great. Like we beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah. We shut down Luka. I think he only had like 14 points that game.
Yep.
It was what we wanted to see to start the year.
And then the very next game we go to Cleveland and we lose on the road. And then I was like, all right, that's a little weird. And then we win 2 more. So we start off season 3-1. I was like, all right, we're good. We're going to make it. But if you go look at the first 20 games, we finish, or not in the first 20 games. If you go to the first 13 games, we started the season 4-9 for the first 13. 4-9.
Not good.
Not good at all. And so something I wanted to get into with y'all is if you look at our first 10 games, we have the first game is the Rockets in Atlanta. Second game is Magic in Atlanta. Third game is Hornets in Atlanta. So you got three home openers, which is awesome, against 3 teams that we should be able to win. We should be able to beat these teams. Yeah. Then you get back-to-back games against the Pistons, one in Detroit, one back in Atlanta. Following that, you have the Bucks and Milwaukee. Then you travel to Toronto, then to New York, and you make one last little home spree at the last end of these 10 games with against the Pelicans again and the Bucks again. So kind of a unique thing about this opening schedule is that you see the Bucks twice, the Pistons twice, and the Pelicans, I think only once, but I think we play them again not too long after that. So yeah, you're seeing a couple teams twice, some good teams, but what do y'all feel about these first 10 games? What do you
I mean, I'm looking at the Hawks to be 8-2, 10-0.
Wow, I love the optimism.
I mean, no joke. Like, I don't think there's any reason for that to not happen. And I'm not saying I'll be disappointed if it doesn't, but I am just saying that, like, based off the talent we added, the talent we kept, I hope the cohesiveness is better and the attitude to start the year is better. I think 8-2, 10-0 is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a little more conservative. I'll say 7-3, only because I think the Bucks, the Raptors, and the Pelicans, all 3 could beat you. I mean, the Knicks could beat you on any given night, any 2, but I think we win that game. So I think there's easily a couple teams we could lose to, but I agree with you. I think we win one, lose one with the Bucks probably. I think we can take the one against the Raptors. I think honestly, you start the season off 5-0 maybe. If you start off 5-0, if you go 2-3 in the next 5, I'm not upset about that.
No, yeah, and I think the for me the 2 games, if we did 8-2 that I pointed out, I think we could split the Bucks and then lose to the Raptors because the Raptors just give us so much. They're a terrible matchup for us.
They are.
They really are. They are designed to. I'm not saying they're designed to beat the Hawks as far as like that's what they had in mind, but the way we're constructed and the way they're constructed do not jive.
I'll be interested to see how it changes now with Murray. I think it changes the dynamic a little bit because they're a very strong defensive presence. Mm-hmm. Something that will matter too against them is that their bench unit is just not as good as ours. And so it'll be how our bench unit translates because our bench won't be as good as last year. And we'll talk about that when we get our deep dive right before the season starts about what's the differences between this team and what we expect them to do. But I think at the very least, you got to go 6-4. I think I'd be a little disappointed 6-4. I think 7-3 is like the bottom point you're shooting for.
Yeah. 6-4, 7-3, I'd still be okay with, but 5-5 or less, and I'm like,
I'm
where we're at.
I'd say 7-3 as well. And you want at least a split with Milwaukee. If you somehow come away and beat Milwaukee twice in the first 10 games, I think that is pretty telling of what
that's
the season
huge.
Could be.
It's huge.
Absolutely agree.
Then you'd be looking at you're competing for the top seed going. To the playoffs.
Yes.
And also on DeJounte, I think that guy is going to have a sense of urgency about him. He's coming to a new team. He was on the Spurs previously, who have been somewhat unsuccessful.
The only reason they were even close to the play-in was because of him. That's the reason they got made to the play-in.
I think he's ready to start fresh, hit the ground running. He wants to win immediately, and that's just kind of the intensity he gives off, and that's kind of exciting to have that push.
Absolutely.
So I think that's going to make a difference here to start the season.
I think you're right. I think actually there's a couple of reasons why Atlanta might start explosive to start the year. I think one definitely is DeJounte Murray coming in, bringing that energy, bringing that grit. But you also have a healthy Capella, a healthy DeAndre Hunter, and a healthy Onyeka Okongwu, who all got to practice this offseason, got to stay in shape. And I think it's going to be the difference between our sluggish start last season, where we had a couple players come in out of shape, not ready for the season.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they got that dog in them. But this year, I think the difference is going to be telling with the conditioning. I mean, watching Capella to go through the between the legs dunk on that guy during one of those off-season games, like I think it shows you the want is there this year, and I think it'll translate to the beginning of the season.
100%.
And I think the Suns proved last year how you start the season impacts the rest of the season. Like you don't, and the Braves showed this year. Like if the Braves didn't start off so cold, we would be number one in our division right now. We've had the best record in baseball.
We might be number one, and we might have the best record in baseball right now if we didn't start off the way we started. I think we for sure would. And just look at the Hawks last year, having to go through the play-in game despite finishing the year good or finishing the year well.
Right.
If we don't start the year so shittily, we're probably the 7 or 6 seed, even with everything else remaining constant.
Yeah, and this year you don't you don't want to be a play-in. The 6th seed,
yeah.
And this year you don't want to be a play-in team. Like that's your number one goal. I mean, you probably have higher aspirations, but that should be at least the number one goal is.
Oh, and we talked about it a few weeks ago when you asked us our predictions for the year or what we're expecting when we talked about Nate McMillan and whether he needs to stay.
Yeah.
And I said it then, and I for sure maintain it now based off the excitement we're building towards. If you're the 6th seed, I don't care that you avoided the play-in round. That's bad.
Yeah. With expectations.
If you're the 6th seed this year, we have not succeeded throughout the regular season.
With barring the talent, you have to expect top 4 seed, right?
100%. Four to me is what I like. If we're 4 or better, then we have, in my opinion, done our job.
It's funny, and maybe it's because the Hawks are the team I keep up with the most. My expectations for us is around that 5th seed. I think the 5th seed should be the spot we're aiming for, and we'll talk about that when we start to break down the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is deep. It's super deep. I mean, you have Boston Celtics, who looked like the best team in basketball. I know they lost to the Golden State Warriors, but a lot of that has to do with experience and just really experience has a lot to do with that. But you have the returning champions from the year before, Milwaukee Bucks, who the only reason they're not making it back is because one of their best players was out. And then you have the Nets. If they return everybody, they could also be a contender. So it's just there's a lot of good teams, and it's going to be interesting to see how the season plays out. But I think the Hawks are going to be right there in that run for the 6 or 4.
Yeah.
And you got to.
All you can do is be in the hunt. If you're there, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Before we end this seg and before we move on, a couple games to highlight is, if anyone's curious, on December 30th, LeBron and Lakers come to town. Those tickets are already up to over $200. I was looking at the rest of the schedule. They're the highest tickets prices so far. You can see on this ESPN link I sent you. The second closest is the Golden State game, which is the game in Golden State. It starts at 104. The one in Atlanta versus the Los Angeles Lakers starts at 217, as low as 217.
Wow.
That's why LeBron James makes that big time money.
It is, man.
Everybody wants to see him for you.
Everyone wants to see him. And so March 26th and April 2nd, if you want to go catch some good games, the Grizzlies are in town, the Mavs are in town. March 13th, Timberwolves are in town if you want to go see Ant play. And then Warriors come to town on March 17th. So the spring has a lot of great teams coming to town. It's going to be interesting. And then November 23rd, Kayvon comes home. So it'll be Kevin Huerter's first time back in Atlanta since the trade.
Yes,
so,
Kayvon comes home.
Yeah, so if you're trying to get a November game right on Thanksgiving, go watch Kevin Huerter return, the Red Ranger.
There he is, the Red Ranger.
I hope he puts up 30 against us in a loss. Like, I hope they lose.
Oh, yeah,
but
sure.
I want him to score 30.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's all I got on the Hawks and the Falcons.
Sweet.
All right. Well, as we're wrapping up here, is there anything you guys are looking forward to this week or want to leave with the audience?
I mean, to me, it's just go Braves, baby, from here on out. I mean, we're looking at Atlanta United having a lost season, so we got to have all our chips in that basket. And, even though it's not this upcoming week, but we'll be a week closer to UGA kickoff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I want to see the Braves do well. Obviously, I'm hoping I don't care for the Mets to Met 100%, but I want the Braves to get first place. So whether it be the Braves out like just being crazy good and the Mets still playing well but losing a couple here and there, or Mets Metting, I don't care. Let's secure that bag. And then I just hope to see some clarity after the Falcons game tomorrow, just about some of the position battles. And then maybe see us sign some of these players that get cut from the other teams if they have some veteran defensive linemen or O-line. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is still out there, so I don't think he'll want to come play for us. He probably want to look for a contender. But if no one's offering him the bag, let's get him.
Yeah, why not? Well, since both of you guys talked about the Braves, I'll go a different route. I watched the Manti Te'o documentary on Netflix. It was very interesting. I think it's worth a watch.
It is.
You just really feel for Manti. He's he was just a kid. He's in college and a little bit isolated, and I think it's worth watching. It's like the first huge catfish you ever heard of growing up. And now it's such a
was it juicy? Was it good?
It was really good. And
it wasn't what I thought it was. Having not really known anything about the story outside of just, I thought it was like, oh, he made up a girlfriend because he's fucking dumb. I maintain he is fucking dumb, having watched it.
I maintain.
But like Hayden said, he was a young kid. He went from Hawaii to South Bend, Indiana, over, just a fish out of water. And
all kids are kind of dumb.
And he got catfished, man. It sucks.
Yeah, you feel for the guy, but he got some veneers. He's a super hot dude now, so check it out.
Oh, he does look good. Yeah,
he's doing well. He's back in Hawaii.
He's like Manti.
He basically looks like a Hawaiian Hayden there, if I had to say.
Oh boy,
good looking guy.
I'll take it. All right, as we wrap up, special shout out to our friend Oh No to put our music together.
Oh no.
Shout out to Jess and Kinsey for their help with logos and social medias and whatnot. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please continue checking in. We're gonna keep putting some content out. We're gonna try to market a little bit. Maybe we'll do some T-shirt giveaways if you're listening, and if you could wear them to different sporting events, or if you're going to the grocery store in Atlanta.
Tag us on TikTok, Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. Find us there. Leave 5-star review, all that stuff. But yeah, that's it for this week, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Deuces.